Hi there, this is Daniel, and this is part 2 of episode 5. The Hannings change, and Daniel heads to high school. Now, honey, you know that ain't no toy. Put it down and meet Ken's little boy. I can't even begin to tell you what's wrong with that exchange. What the is Ken? There was me, there was Mr. Hanning, and who the heck's the little boy? Lady, I just helped carry your darn television into that van, and before we left, I was going to help haul it out. There were no little boys here. The small girl, well-groomed, and not in Kmart or JCPenney clothes or even Sears. They were expensive-looking clothes. So this girl is headed to me. She obviously had been not walking along or wasn't very good at it. So I take a moment to look around. It's a nice condo. This was like 1969, 1970, and there weren't too many condos I had visited. It was dark. I noticed that. They'd already had up their Christmas tree, and there were lots of lights and a train under the tree, and they had that darn multicolored wheel that we had. Then I looked at the beagle. He was just being a beagle. He was biting his own feet, almost laughing at them, growling happily now as it plays. Nice digs, I thought. And at that time, I was assaulted by this playful little girl. She had one heck of a smile. "Hi, my name's Betty Sue. Who are you?" she said in the little girl sing-song that made me think of candy canes and puppies. "Of course your name is Betty Sue. How Mark Twain is now. Mark Twain's writing my life? Why not?" I looked down at her and just can't help but smile. So I gave her a big one and went into a soft voice. "Hi, Betty Sue. My name's Daniel, and I'm here to bring back your television. It's fixed now." Betty Sue giggles, puts her hand to her face, and twists her right foot in the ground. You know, I've always meant to ask, ladies, this. Are all girls programmed with that reflex like at birth? You all do it. You know that, right? The smile, the grin, the grinding of your feet. You all do it. Betty says into her hand, "Our television's right over there, silly. There's nothing wrong with it." Giggle and a small laugh. Couple of things here. First, I had seen the television when I'd done my sweep of the room. Nice console, dark wooden case, most likely a Motorola or Zenith. There were Roadrunner cartoons on it at the moment. I'd been watching them out of the corner of my eye. And the television we had just put on the back of the van was much older and definitely not a Motorola or a Zenith. My dad was smiling like an ape. My father was a happy man, but like most Texan men of the time, you just didn't show you were happy. My father was smiling like a rooster that had just spent the afternoon in a hen house. "Mr. Twain, I can do this. I really appreciate your help, but get out." We were returning a television, right? The little girl was holding my hand. That seemed to be the theme for the day. And she was talking. She was talking a lot. Most of it in the single word sentence that just keeps going on and on and on and on and on, that small children do as they are learning to speak. I'm noticing now that she's actually about 4, at the most 5. She is talking and talking, and I'm catching every 5th word complex. "And your daddy said earlier, and the puppy is for Christmas, and mommy said it was from Santa, and your daddy likes my mommy." And that last part starts ringing in my ears, twang and all. You ever have one of those moments? There's this sound in your head, like the needle being scratched halfway across the record. Everything freezes. And there's this clarity to everything you see. It's almost like seeing everything in the world again for the very first time. Flowers. There were frigging flowers all over this house. They were in the foyer where we were standing. They were in the living room by the television. The working television. They were on the kitchen table. There were flowers in the kitchen, and I couldn't see them, but I'll bet my bottom dollar, Mark, they were upstairs. Don't get me wrong, I love flowers, but only when they're behind glass, and I'm on the other side. I got my mom's allergies. There are no other people in this condo, and if there is a man living here, he's a eunuch. There's a puppy. Like the one I'd wanted since I could remember knowing what puppies were. There is the smell of food and flowers and my dad. I look over and my father is talking with this woman. He reaches over and gives her another squinch. A rather long squinch. And they were laughing and smiling. There was a lot of talking and squinching for a dropped-off repaired TV, and I'm getting really uncomfortable. Then she speaks. Well now, Danny, come on over here and get something to eat. She was walking away from my father now, who was staring at me as if expecting a certain response. Well, I just had breakfast on the way down, but thank you. I smile, and then I look over towards my father. He is staring pretty hard at me right now. I can't figure it out, but it seems he's upset with me. I walk towards the kitchen table, and I see all the presents under the tree. I am in awe of the sheer number of presents. When I notice a name tag that doesn't belong, right there at my feet, right in front of me, is a present. On its tag, there are two names, as usual, and it clearly says, in familiar handwriting, to Betty Sue, from Ken. Okay, my creep factor is pretty darn high right about now, and I really want to get the heck out of this house. My father has now moved to the kitchen, and is still standing far too close to this lady. The little girl is now back to tormenting the beagle. The beagle, man, what I wouldn't have given for that little guy. He had perfect markings, and he definitely was not in front of a Kroger's like we'd gotten most of our puppies. This dog had been bought. This was a purebred dog, and I'm willing to bet it cost at least $500. The beagle was holding its own now with the little girl. They were having fun. I wish I were somewhere having fun. I look over at my father, and I give him my trademark hands on the hip, cross look on my face look, and hold up my hands palm upwards, thinking very hard, well, are we going to do this or what? My father puts his hand on the lady's shoulder and whispers in her ear. She looks over at me, then looks back at my father, and she kind of smiles out the side of her mouth. Then she turns and whispers in his ear, and they laugh. I don't know what's so friggin' funny. We need to move that darn heavy console television, then drive back to Pearland. I hadn't really planned on spending the day at some stranger's house. Dad moves away from her and out of the kitchen. Success. The impatient Danny look never fails. We are on our way out of this place. I have a picture of the look. I do. I have a picture of this look that I'm telling you. I'll scan it and I'll post it sometime soon. And it's perfect. I'm my Weeblos outfit, and it's my look. I am moving towards my father, and out of my right ear I hear, "Are you leaving already, Danny?" At least I think she said Danny, and not Daddy. That's funny. My father answered, even though it sounded like she asked for me. "Yes, Betty Sue, we're going to leave now. I have to get Danny back to Pearland. Are you enjoying Bagel?" Hold the phone. Did he just call the dog Bagel? I had a dog named Bagel. Once, for a month or so, I was told he ran away because of the fireworks. The noise scared him away. It was July 4th, so, I bought it. I accepted the story on face value, but I just loved that beagle named Bagel. Now, this little girl had my dog. I mean, It had been years ago. I mean, I knew it wasn't my dog, the one I loved that ran away, but it was. This was now past creepy, and I knew we had entered the twilight zone. At any minute, Rod Serling was going to come down the stairs smoking a cigarette and introduce tonight's episode. I was pretty much freaking out when my father touched my shoulder and said, "Danny, let's put that television in the garage for Tammy. What do you say?" "Yes, Dad, that's a good idea. I want to go home now." And I really did want to get home right then. We headed to the door. There were goodbyes. I am sure I even engaged in some. But I had one thought and one thought only. Get the hell out of that house now. We went outside. My dad backed up the van up to the garage door. We opened the garage door. We unloaded the television, closed the doors, got back into the van, and pointed back to Pearland. We didn't talk for some time. Just both sat in silence. Then it was my father that spoke first. "So, Danny, did you like Tammy and Betty Sue?" Now, I'm saying to myself, now, Dad, why would I like those people? They're just customers. That was all. I want to pay for a family vacation and some Christmas present. Why is it so important for me to like these people? I was upset with my father. It wasn't a first, by a long shot. Hell, each time I would get shocked, I'd bark at him, and I got shocked pretty often. But this was different. So I kind of popped off, unlike me. I noticed they had a beagle named Bagel. What are the chances of that? I turned to give him my inquisitive look, as though I was being honest and not just a lovable bastard. "I helped name him, Danny. I thought it was a really cute name when you came up with it years ago." Well, I had a feeling that more stealing was going on here than just the cute name of a family dog. And yes, it was a very cute name and extremely clever, if I say so myself. But that was beside the point. Why was my dad naming their dog? Why was it so important for me to like these clients? Why had we gone to the house to visit when we just needed to put the television in the garage? My stomach was upset, and I felt like I wanted to cry. That day, that ride home, the relationship I had with my father changed. It wasn't stupid. I wasn't stupid. I knew he and my mom were not getting along. I had the bedroom right next to theirs, and it didn't seem they could argue with the closet door closed. It was how I knew things about the family and mom and dad before Daryl. It was how the day after Father left, I knew he was going to be gone long before the house got up that day. "I just liked that lady and her little girl, Danny, and I wanted you to meet them and see if you liked them too. That's all." My father didn't die for nearly another decade, but I never answered his question. Later, maybe a year, maybe less, I was reintroduced to that woman and her daughter as my father's new wife. She didn't last long, and I never called her Mom. Oh yeah, I found out she owned a floral shop, and for 1 year during the summer, I delivered flowers for her floral shop. Yeah, I delivered flowers. I learned something. My first week in property management No amount of paint in the whole world ever truly covers a black wall. Thank you for your support. Thank you for watching and reading. Thank you for contributing. Thank you for being here. May God bless.